How did it start?
We did a sketch on a TV show called The TV Show,
Right.
which was a takeoff on Midnight Special. Rob was Wolfman Jack. We were this band called Spinal Tap. Michael, you still have the napkin that we were writing all the names of.
Oh yeah, well, Chris gave it to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you wrote the names of the characters.
The possible names of the band before
Right.
we came up with Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
And we did a song called Rock and Roll Nightmare, and at the end of the song, we're all on the floor, lying on the floor, waiting for smoke to cover us for the last shot in the song.
The Busby Berkeley style leg lifts and things.
And instead of smoke coming down, there's hot drops of oil. And it turns out, we didn't know this, that it's illegal to kill a prop man in California. So instead, nutty
Luckily
state.
got away
they
with
got
it. A
the
technicality.
Craziest laws.
Yeah, yeah.
Nutty,
laws.
And we started talking about what else we could do with this band. And time goes on, and we come up with this idea for a mock documentary about following a band on a not quite successful tour.
Right.
That was
Right. But the thing that I found so interesting was that you created this history for the
Right.
whole band.
That was what we did with the
You
first
had-
year, pretty much.
You had to do that because the whole film is improvised. And so the only way that we could know in scenes what to reference is to have that common history and everybody
the Bible of the lives of all the lives of all these people.
we had to know what our characters would have known
Right.
about
going
each
back
other.
to childhood.
And
Right.
when?
Yeah. So it's like 17 years of
Yeah.
at that
of
point.
history.
Of fake
Right.
history. Yeah.
Right, of fake history.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
This was before fake news. It was fake history.
Yeah. Well, of course it would be before.
So, and your thumbnail, if we were going to do
me
your...
see.
I have the strangest one. Mine is-
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have
he
the
has
short
two.
one.
He has
Well, he
a
does.
different,
See, he has two different
cut the
thumbs.
other
different
one
thumbs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He has the most interesting thumb.
We're really covering only the most important things about this film,
Yeah.
I think.
Right.
But my thumbnail,
Was,
yeah,
as the bass player,
Yeah.
your name and your thumbnail was...
Derek.
Your thumbnail sketch.
Derek Albion Smalls from the town of Milford on the River Null in the West Midlands. My dad had been in the business of sanitizing telephones. He had a little van that went around, the Santa
Service.
van.
Yeah.
And because after
Very
the war,
reasonable, too.
people were, really concerned about the germs on their instruments, so to speak.
So to speak. Yes,
Still are.
indeed.
The instruments.
And, please...
David Ivor St. Hubbins from Squatney in England. It's the
East End?
northeast, southeast end of the East End. And childhood friends with...
Lived in the same street. Nigel Tufnell. We were mates when we were young.
Yep.
Played music together when we were small.
Yeah. Well, I'll get back to the crucial moment in film when it looks like you guys are going
It was hard.
Yeah.
I still can't see. I can't look at that part.
The
'Cause It's
breakup?
usually not on.
Oh.
So that's why I can't. I almost never look
Yeah.
at it.
Right. And you, of
Yeah,
course...
Martin DeBerge.
Yeah.
Martin DeBerge, a aspiring filmmaker, huge fan of Spinal Tap, and not as successful as he would like to be.
But in fairness, you made the commercial with the little cow.
Yes, I did a commercial about there's a chuck wagon running underneath the sink.
For the dog
so
food,
I did
yeah.
do
Dog
that.
That dog food.
And that was
Yeah.
the only thing I had done. I had never done a feature film. So
You've never worked with people before.
That's true. And never even with a life-size chuck wagon.
No.
It was a very small
Well,
chuck
you want to
wagon.
start small.
Yeah,
before
you start
work-
small, you work
You
your way
don't
up.
just do stagecoach. And
Exactly.
Start with a tiny.
That's
one.
right. There's no wagon. I didn't
No.
do wagon train.
No.
But you've done good kitchen work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. And working with animals, right? I mean, not
Yeah.
so easy.
No, not
No.
easy.
No.
Well,
There you go.
Children and animals.
There you go.
Right.
So, if I understand it correctly, you make a 20-minute short.
Right.
That's-
In lieu of writing a screenplay, which
Right.
we decided after a day and a half that we didn't want to do
well,
because
we
it was
couldn't-
no fun.
And not only no fun, but we couldn't figure out how we were going to communicate in screenplay form what this thing was, which is it's a documentary, an improvised. We had to make it look real. So I went to the head of the studio. I said, "Give me the money that you were going to give us for the screenplay, and we'll make you some of the film."
Right.
So we made 20 minutes of the film.
And so, what was it like shopping it around?
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
The main reaction was,
What the?
what is this?
Yeah.
yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
Well, it's because they didn't. First of all, they didn't know it was us. which is a little bit confusing sometimes because we look different in the film.
Spoke
So
differently.
they
I don't know if you've seen the
seriously-
film, but we,
No.
No.
When the film first came out, we showed it in Dallas, and people said, "What came up to me?" They said, "Why would you make a movie about a band nobody's ever heard of, and one that's so bad?" Yeah, and I
And
said, "They didn't get
Michael
it."
and I were standing getting popcorn in the middle. We'd seen the movie, so we two young women.
You were in it.
We were, and two young women came to the counter, and this is in Dallas, and they said, "These guys are so stupid," and it was just
They're not wrong.
they're not wrong.
Yeah, they weren't
and that
wrong.
was a success in the sense that they
Yeah.
actually didn't know what this was.
Yeah.
That's quite amazing.
Yeah, nobody understood.
The head of the head of marketing at the studio, such as it was, said to us just before it was a marketing meeting a few weeks before the film was released, and he said, "Don't you guys think you have to wink sometime in the first 30 seconds to let people know you're kidding?" I said, "No, thank you very much."
And the funny thing is, we had a film cinematographer named Peter Smokler, and we had hired him because he had shot a number of real rock and roll
Right,
documentaries.
right.
Matter of fact, he was at Altamont for the very famous thing with the Rolling Stones and the Hells Angels, and we were shooting, and he would say to me, he says, "I don't understand this. This isn't funny. This is exactly what they do." And I said, "It's a little bit bent. You just have to." So
Edge, the guy from U2, said it made him cry because he thought it
We
was so
got that a lot.
authentic.
Yeah.
yeah,
Not in-
But
not
Steven
the-
Tyler found it very depressing.
But in all
Saw it
fairness,
more than
Edge
once.
cries.
yeah.
He's
Well,
an
that was
easy
the
cry.
He
always-
cries at the drop of a hat.
He
Yeah.
does.
That was
Yeah.
the original Prince song, "When Edge Cries."
Yeah, yeah.
And The Edge of Night. He was
Yeah.
part of that.
Well, it was a soap opera, and he was
Yeah.
supposed to cry.
Yeah.
Right.
But Sting came and was an audition for Princess Bride, and he said he had seen the movie like tons of times. He said, every time I watched it, I didn't know to laugh or cry. So,
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So the 20-minute short, though, how long does it take for you guys to sit around, create your identities?
20
and-
minutes.
everything's 20
A lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it takes a long time.
Yeah.
Many months of mapping this out. Yes. The childhoods, the songs that we wrote, the names of all these things.
And names of the albums that they
Right.
had.
So that when you're in
you
an
know.
interview situation, we knew all the answers because those were in common.
Right.
This
So
isn't
when
just-
when you're shooting the film,
Yeah.
We'd never heard those questions.
that was my
Yeah, they
question.
never heard any questions I was going to ask,
Nope.
and I certainly didn't know what answers they were going
No.
to give.
Right.
But that's true of every scene in the movie.
Yeah.
You had no idea what anybody else was going to say.
There were a couple of moments when I remember saying to Ray, it was when it was kind of an interview thing, I'd say, "Ask me about the tape, what's on the tape recorder."
Yeah.
That was I think it was actually the
Yeah,
only
yeah.
time. But generally, the questions were a lovely surprise because
Oh, my
mainly we
God.
knew the answers.
Mainly. When he said you can't dust for vomit, I mean, I went a couple of places that I had to go. When you can't dust for vomit, that one got me.
Well, Paul Benedict, the late Paul Benedict.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know who that is?
No.
He was the hotel clerk when they were
yeah.
checking
Gotcha.
into
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
motel.
Honest God made me, sir.
Yes. And it's like everything out of his mouth, which just broke everybody up.
And
it was,
Fred Willard, when we were visiting the Air Force Base, that was really
that was difficult.
Hold it in, hold it
Yeah.
in, hold it in.
Yeah. Anyway, work with funny people. That's what you get.
Yeah. Was it as much fun to do as it is for us to watch?
We had fun.
I think
Oh,
so.
my
We had a lot of fun.
A lot
Yeah.
of fun.
Yeah,
It can't
was
be more
good.
fun because we got to play music and be with friends that we'd worked with for a long time and do something that we believed in.
Yeah.
And no one knew what was going to happen to this, obviously.
Right.
But yes, it was a lot of fun.
And, the thing is, we did this, 35 years ago, and every once in a while we'll come back for something, where there's a reunion, whatever. And every time we come back, we fall back right into the
Absolutely.
same
Yeah, yeah.
rhythms.
Absolutely.
It's the best. I mean,
It's coming home.
Yeah.
It's miraculous because it's like stuff happens and stuff doesn't happen, and then we come back.
And we
do
still
this.
make each other laugh.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
See what I mean?
It's kind of like
Case in point.
You made him laugh.
I let
it's
him laugh.
It's like the movie Titanic when they get back together
Yeah.
and they say,
They don't
Yeah,
get back
yeah.
together.
"Oh,
yet.
that's right."
Yeah,
he
one of
goes-
them died.
He
No,
drowns, yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Spoiler
Fair enough,
alert.
fair
I think
enough.
the whole point of the movie
whole
was
book.
that they
Okay,
get back
you're
together.
right.
Yeah. Lose the whole boat.
For instance, for me, just even the name of the group, that at one point it was the Originals,
That's right.
Sure.
Yeah, then it
And
was
then
the newer.
Newer,
yeah.
which I like better.
Yeah.
The
Well, they had to
regulars.
be. They had
The
to be.
regulars,
There was
yes.
another
The
original.
Thamesmen. Well, we were the Thamesmen.
Yeah, before the originals.
Yeah.
Right.
Thamesmen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matchstick Men.
Matchstick Men.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Flamin' Damons.
Flamin' Damons.
Very brief.
Yeah.
Brainhammer.
Brainhammer.
Sure.
Brainhammer.
I can't get into the
Lovely Lads?
Jewish blues band. I
No,
can't.
no.
I don't have all those names yet.
Mishrocha?
No,
No, that was
later known as Talmud, but
Weren't you the Lovely Lads? for a while?
I'm in Damon Feltman Blues Band,
right.
featuring little.
there were a lot of
Yeah,
permutations.
yeah.
But that happens with
So this was
music.
serious work you were doing.
Yes.
Clearly.
And who was, I can't remember, who was the guy who came up with the umlaut over the end? Do we remember who
Oh,
did?
God.
Because to me, that's what makes the
pretty great,
name of the
yeah.
band.
Part of working in the way we do is that you can't always remember who came up
did
with
what.
what
Of course.
thing.
Yeah,
right.
It's very fast,
Yeah.
and occasionally you remember
Yeah.
who thinks. People come up to you on the street, not literally, with in my case, but
Not on the
People come up to him on the street, too.
Exactly. People, I meant you.
Yeah.
People come up to you on the street and will say, "Well, who came up with a given thing?" And I
Right.
truly don't remember many
No,
of those
no,
things.
it's going back and forth so much.
Sure. Favorite scenes?
Well, in Titanic, it's
No,
the-
no,
not
no.
Titanic.
we're not
We're
talking
done.
about
We're
Titanic.
done
Okay.
Tabling Titanic.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And those-
I always like his guitar solo. It's for some
one?
reason the main guitar with the violin and
With the,
everything.
when he was
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's something about it. I relax into that like a hot bath. It's only 3 minutes, but it's just
Only 3 minutes.
I feel so free.
Really?
Because I know I'm not on stage with him.
And then you don't have to find the soap.
Exactly, and I'm not looking at how funny I
You
am.
know,
Or when you're showing the guitar
Yeah.
and talking about
Yeah, he won't let me go near the guitar because it still has a tag on it.
Yeah.
So, you know, he won't
Well,
let me go
no,
near
there
it.
are
That whole
moments
scene
that
was
have
funny.
lasted, I guess.
That's
I
the
would say the closing credits, because so much funny stuff gets done in the closing credits of this movie. I don't think there's been a comedy movie
Such as?
that.
well, what you
Shoes?
habit? He was going to be a hat. He was
Oh,
sell
sure.
hats.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Yes.
bones, no
No
bones.
bones.
And
Yeah.
there a restaurant, no, it was a hair salon opened in L.A. called No Bones.
Really?
Yeah.
That's,
The
That's
scene,
fair.
the scene when he got me. It was he's playing this very, very beautiful melodic thing on the piano, and he says, it's in D minor, which is the saddest of keys. And I said, what's the name of that? He says, "Lick My Love Punk." That got me. I went big on that one. That one got me.
if people do come up to you and they say what about the film?
Well, this goes to 11. That's and my favorite line is and it's actually not a line. It's taken by, and it's a perfect example of how they dovetail. There's a fine line between stupid and clever.
I set him up. He scored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that to me is
That's the way it
the
works.
epitome of the movie.
Yeah.
A fine line between stupid and clever.
Yeah,
And-
and it's how
and it's shared
conversations.
between- Yeah.
It's how conversations actually happen.
Yeah.
And that's what was so much fun. Nobody was looking for a punchline at any time. We were living in the scenes, and hiring people like Howard Hessman to do our, to be funny.
I wish I could talk, but I have to go in the lobby and wait for the
limo.
limo.
Yeah, yeah.
He had that to do. He had
All Howard.
Yeah.
Do you know that your film is in the Library of Congress?
Sure.
I do know that. Thank you,
Yeah.
though.
Right.
Does anybody check that out though?
No.
I mean,
No, it's not Blockbuster. It's not
no,
that-
because
It's
because
like
of
5
what if
cents
they
a day.
What if they take it and they don't bring
Yeah.
it back?
Do
Yeah, I
you know
think
how much a
cost you a
library
fortune.
card there costs?
Oh,
It's ridiculous.
And Congress goes for free.
Yeah,
Of course.
Sure.
What's up with that?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that and the free health care. Don't get me started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, the reason it's there, I had to write this down because I wanted to make sure, wanted to get the wording right, is because it's culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant.
Okay, which one of those is it?
Oh, it's an or?
It's
Not
So
an
I
and?
say or.
Can it be all of the above?
Yeah, I thought and.
It's a
Yeah.
it's a multiple choice.
They hit us with the or at the
Yeah.
end.
yeah.
Yeah.
What were the choices
Very nice.
again?
It's
Culturally?
culturally, historically,
Culturally.
or,
Or.
aesthetically significant.
I'd take culturally.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But I think it's aesthetic.
But aesthetically, you have to say it started a big ball rolling because
Yeah,
the Office guys took that
Yeah,
mockumentary format, and then half of the sitcoms on television are using it now.
We
3 or
created
4
a genre,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah. So-
That idea didn't exist before, where you would improvise on film. It didn't happen before.
Yeah.
And I won't. I swear I won't bring this up again. no one thought that ship was going to go down.
No, Chris.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just
And
a little
that
upset.
film was improvised too.
Exactly, and,
But they
and a lot of
stole
people
from us.
don't
22
know
years
that
he's been
that
talking
movie is
about.
completely there's no
Completely
script.
improvised.
They're just
And they
going.
just had the ship model on
Exactly.
set just
Yeah.
in case.
I,
Yeah,
won't,
exactly.
I won't come back to it. It's just the fans were real. It was blowing their. That was real.
Right. The ice water, fake.
Yeah.
Fake, all fake.
Fake.
See?
No death in
Yeah.
the sea.
I am thinking about that. That was a sad.
But I'd say, go back to your question, I'd say aesthetically.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Aesthetically.
Yeah.
It's my understanding that this is not a film from which you have reaped enormous rewards.
There are proceedings apace discussing that very question as we speak. And
Enough said.
Enough said.
yeah, I mean, listen, I'll say this: there are producers in Hollywood who have it as a line item in their budget. Lawsuit. For every picture they make, it's a line item in the budget. Lawsuit. Sue the studio after the pictures comes out in case it makes money because
Right.
they're going to have to go run after it.
Yeah.
Not in the Lego movie, would they? Have that?
Well,
such a sweet.
there's a Lego lawsuit where they
Oh,
have to
okay.
build a court.
Get
out
him
of
started
Lego.
on the Titanic
Yeah.
again, please, because that's an
it's,
ugly can of
it's
worms.
not a unique situation in our business to have a dispute over where the money might be resting at a
Right.
particular moment in time.
I guess for me that surprised me on what some level was this sounded to me reminiscent of what happened especially to African American musicians. Right? So I create, and somebody else is making all the dough.
The Rhythm and Blues Foundation used to have a gala here in New York City every year to raise money for all the men and women
Yeah.
in the African American music community who couldn't afford their own medical care in their 50s and 60s.
Right.
Because
After
where's
selling
the money?
But you
30
guys were
million
like kind of
copies
show
of
business
something.
guys,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
But as I say, there are producers who have it in their budget every picture.
Right.
It's not that it only happens to the naive people or the newbies. Mm-hmm. It happens.
And there are advocates now out there who are trying to retrieve royalties and publishing rights for people who just
Sure.
basically got
Yeah,
the short.
if anybody's going to get screwed, I didn't think it was going to be you guys.
I don't think.
Who do
I
you
don't
think it was going to be?
Titanic.
I'm just giving
The
you
With the
Titanic
boat,
guys.
the boat and the sinks, the boat sinks.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh no, you.
That
have,
doesn't make
you
sense.
Know, we're on
it was
your
the biggest
side.
ship in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the safest
At the
ship
top.
too.
Yes.
The safest ship.
Thank you very much.
Unsinkable.
Thank you.
Molly Brown.
No, it's
Wow.
It's a
Yeah.
thing, you know.
Right.
So we're having these discussions as we speak.
So does it feel like 35 years?
Not really.
Since we started this
How does it feel
conversation.
for you? What does it feel like to you? How many years?
It feels like 26 years to me.
Wow.
It's surreal, truthfully.
It is.
Yeah, but people get older, and you look back, and you're. I'm just happy that we got to do that piece of
yeah.
work that we like still.
Yeah.
And that at the time, I remember writing down in a book, I said, I want to write my feelings about this before it comes out, before people write about it. And I wrote down in a journal that I liked what we had done. And I wanted it to be truthful and not based on some review that said one way or the
Yeah.
other.
Right.
And that's what I wrote. I said, I'm pleased we did this, and it's a movie that I like.
The thing I think that doesn't get said enough is we had so many moments where the film might never have been seen. We kept moving forward with the sound of guillotines coming down right
Yeah.
behind us.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there was a point, I think, which we were told, if the first two critics who saw it and did preview reviews didn't like it, it was not going to be released.
If we didn't have 4 people, if it had been -1 at any time, it would have been hard
Yeah.
to keep going on
The,
this.
the stubbornness quotient
would have gone away.
have
Yeah.
been-
When we tried to sell it, Karen Murphy, who was our producer on the film, we literally had a can of film, the 20-minute thing. We went to literally every studio, and I said to her, I said, Karen, if this ever gets made or we get it, on the screen, we'll have the story that we had a film can under our arm to every. And we got turned down by literally everybody.
And the sweet thing about that is, some years later, a lot of the same executives that said no to us were saying, would you do the sequel for us now, please?
And
we got this-
I heard from someone who was a no person. Years later, I got a phone call. The person shall be nameless for the purposes of this. And that person had said no. And they said, I'm looking for a new job. They said, is it all right if I tell people that I worked on the film? True. And I said,
And
I
what
don't
did you
think it
say?
is.
Right.
I don't think it is okay.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, you turned it down. Okay.
But you know
Good
what
point.
would really
Yes,
hurt
and
that?
this is true.
You know what would really hurt that person in looking for a new job? Being nameless. I think you have to have a name to get a job.
I'll name
Yeah,
it for you
yeah,
later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a couple
I think
other
I
things
figured it
real
out.
quickly. And the marquees in the film,
Yes.
right, Spinal Tap,
Sure.
not on the top.
No.
It's you know, unfortunate.
No.
It was really unfortunate that the puppet show
Yeah.
got top billing.
Yeah.
But they were telling me earlier today that, you know, they performed at a place called Gazzari's on Sunset Strip, a club there, and they were on the same bill.
Before the movie came out.
Yeah.
Yes, and they were on the
Haven't
same
even
bill
shot it.
with
Haven't shot
Iron
it.
Butterfly in Agata Davida. And they were supposed to open
For them. We
for
were supposed to
Iron
open for them.
Butterfly, but it turned out that Iron Butterfly
Well, one of the guys, the bass player, I believe, it's usually the very
Of course.
had some dental work done that morning.
Yeah.
And whatever they gave him was wearing off, and you don't want to see him when he's normal.
Yeah.
So they wanted it. So they did their set first, and just Inagata Davida itself was 45 minutes long. So we were there well past midnight. We
Iron
went on.
Butterfly opened for Spinal Tap.
That's
the
right,
point of the
yeah.
story.
Wow. Because I think tonight you actually get top billing.
Yeah.
Really?
Finally.
Yeah.
Well, what else?
Puppet show had
There's
to do
nothing
it.
else on the bill.
Well, no,
That's the only way we
when
got
we
it.
opened for ourselves at
Yes.
Carnegie Hall and various places,
And
the
Beacon.
Folksmen opened for Spinal Tap. And it was a show in L.A. It was a nice big venue. And my son at the time was about 6. And he didn't recognize us as the old people, folk musicians. And he said to my wife, he said, when are the old guys getting off and the loud guys coming on? Which was the sentiment pretty much in the audience.
And it tells you everything.
We didn't come to see
These
guys
old-
singing songs about the Spanish Civil War. Yeah.
Enough about that. I think we have an embarrassment of riches here.
Yeah. Or an embarrassment, at least an embarrassment.
Right.
None of us are named Rich.
Me, personally, the thing, I went back and I watched the film, but the one I always carried around with me was the, where you're talking, the manager is canceling all the billings.
Sure.
Just one after another, and you're getting ready to go to Boston.
Right.
Yeah.
And he says, Boston, why Boston? It's not a good college town.
Not a big
college
college. It's not a big
town.
college
No.
town. No.
No.
So he was trying to sell them the fact that they're
Yeah.
they're
There's a
dated.
reason you're stiffing in Boston.
Right.
Well, our appeal is becoming more selective, he also told
Yes.
us, by which he means nobody's showing up.
There you go.
But being lied to by a manager is not an uncommon experience for anybody. And,
No, it's happening.